there are men whose names echo not only through stadiums, but through the soul of a nation. Arthur Antunes Coimbra, known universally as ZICO, belongs to that rare breed of footballers who did not merely play the game, but transcended it. To the world, he was the magician of Maracanã, the White Pelé, the free-kick master whose right foot turned leather into poetry. To Brazil, he was something deeper. Proof that grace and humility could coexist with genius, that greatness could be quiet yet eternal. His story begins in Quintino, a working-class neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro, a place filled with laughter, music, and the ceaseless rhythm of samba that bled from every window. The sun-soaked streets were his first stadium. There were no manicured pitches, no modern equipment, only the rough asphalt and the dreams of barefoot children who lived for football. Born on March 3, 1953, ZICO was the youngest of 5 brothers in a modest but loving household. His parents, José and Matilde Coimbra, were of Portuguese descent, humble and devout. His father, a bank clerk, had once been an amateur footballer himself and carried the same passion that would later burn so brightly in his youngest son. Please like, share and comment on the video with your valuable feedback. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get notified of new videos. Tell us in the comments if you would like to see the biography of your favorite football player. Yet Arthur's early years did not suggest the making of a legend. He was small, fragile, and often sick. His frame seemed too delicate for a sport that demanded endurance and strength. But what he lacked in size, he compensated with willpower. From dawn until dusk, he would chase the ball across uneven streets, perfecting his balance, learning to control the ball as if it were an extension of his own body. Neighbors would often watch the little boy with a mop of hair and skinny legs dribble endlessly against imaginary defenders, oblivious to the world around him. His brothers, all football enthusiasts, became his first mentors. They taught him discipline and demanded excellence even in play. His mother, worried by his fragile health, tried to keep him home. But the boy's devotion to football was unstoppable. He would sneak out at every chance, barefoot, his heart pounding with excitement, running toward the dusty field that would one day give him his life's identity. As he entered his teenage years, ZICO's passion became an obsession. He would rise early, train before school, and then spend his evenings practicing until darkness swallowed the streets. He idolized Pelé, the man every Brazilian child worshipped. But ZICO's inspiration went beyond imitation. He sought his own way of expressing beauty through the ball. While Pelé embodied power and explosiveness, ZICO embodied precision and creativity. He did not play football. He composed it. When his talent began to outshine his frail physique, local coaches took notice. He was soon recruited by Flamengo's youth academy, the pride of Rio and one of Brazil's biggest clubs. But entry into Flamengo was not a fairy tale beginning. Some doubted him. They said he was too thin, too slow, too fragile for professional football. Coaches questioned whether his body could survive the physical toll. Many others would have quit under the weight of such skepticism. But ZICO did what he had done since childhood. He worked. Every day, he trained longer and harder than anyone else. He spent hours perfecting the craft of free kicks, positioning the ball, stepping back, breathing in rhythm, and striking with an elegance that would soon become world famous. He wasn't born with superhuman physical gifts. He built his greatness through discipline. Slowly, doubt turned to admiration. Flamengo's trainers began to see that this quiet boy possessed something no one could teach: vision, intelligence, and artistry. By 1971, Zico made his professional debut for Flamengo. His presence did not immediately shake the football world, but his style quickly began to attract attention. He played with intelligence beyond his years, reading the game like a grandmaster of chess. His first goals came not from brute strength, but from surgical precision. Fans began whispering about the skinny midfielder who saw the field differently. Within a few seasons, Zico had become the heart of Flamengo. His partnership with talented teammates brought the club to life, and soon his performances began to captivate Brazil. The 1970s were an era of Brazilian football searching for a new identity after Pelé's retirement from the national team. Zico filled that void, not as a copy, but as a new symbol of Brazilian artistry. His game combined vision, technique, and unselfishness. He didn't just score goals, he created them from impossible situations, turning matches into symphonies of movement. His influence at Flamengo grew year after year. He led the club to state championships and later national glory. But his defining moment came in 1981. That year, Flamengo, under Zico's command, won the Copa Libertadores, South America's most prestigious club competition. His leadership and brilliance carried them past formidable opponents until they faced Liverpool, the European champions, in the Intercontinental Cup final. The match, played in Tokyo, became the crowning moment of his club career. Flamengo dismantled Liverpool 3-0, with Zico orchestrating every attack, creating goals and dazzling spectators with a blend of creativity and authority that stunned the English side. The world watched in awe as Flamengo's number 10 painted football in colours few had ever seen. That victory immortalized Zico in the hearts of Flamengo fans. He had delivered them not only trophies, but pride. The validation that Brazilian football artistry could triumph over European power. He was named South American Footballer of the Year 3 times and became synonymous with Flamengo's golden age. But no Brazilian story is complete without the World Cup, the stage where legends are crowned. For Zico, the tournament became both his greatest dream and deepest wound. He represented Brazil in 1978, 1982, and 1986, and though he never lifted the trophy, he embodied the spirit of Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game, in its purest form. The 1982 World Cup in Spain remains the centerpiece of Zico's myth. Under coach Tele Santana, Brazil assembled one of the most talented teams in history. Zico, Socrates, Falcão, and Ada. Players whose understanding of each other bordered on telepathic. They didn't just play football, they elevated it into art. Every touch was fluid, every pass a brushstroke, every move a dance. Fans around the world fell in love with Brazil's style. For many, that team represented the soul of football itself. Zico, wearing number 10, orchestrated their movements like a conductor. His creativity shaped every attack. His free kicks defied logic. He scored against Scotland and New Zealand, each goal more beautiful than the last. Brazil's play in 1982 was so breathtaking that even opposing fans applauded. But destiny can be cruel. In the quarter-final against Italy, Paolo Rossi's hat-trick stunned Brazil 3-2. The loss was catastrophic, a wound that never healed for Zico or his teammates. Yet paradoxically, that defeat cemented their immortality. The world still speaks of that team with reverence. They didn't win the World Cup, but they won football's eternal love. For Zico, the loss left a scar, but also reinforced his belief that football's essence lies not in victory, but in expression. He once said through his actions that beauty, not just results, gives football its meaning. The world had seen Brazil lose, but it had also witnessed the game played to perfection. Zico's international career continued, though plagued by injuries. In the 1986 World Cup, he fought to return from knee surgery, determined to wear the yellow jersey one last time. When he stepped onto the field in Mexico, the fans cheered for more than a player. They cheered for a man who had given everything to his craft. In the quarter-finals against France, he missed a crucial penalty during regular time. For many players, that moment would define their career. For Zico, it did not. The world saw in his eyes not failure, but humanity. Even legends falter, but true greatness is in how they rise. Brazil eventually lost on penalties, but Zico's grace in defeat enhanced his legend even further. His journey took a new direction when he joined Udinese in Italy's Serie A in 1983. The move shocked many. Udinese was not a powerhouse, but a modest club from the northeast. Why would one of the greatest players in the world choose such a destination? But Zico saw football differently. He valued passion over glamour. He saw in Udine a place where he could connect with fans and share his artistry without the suffocating pressure of giants. The Italian press greeted him with excitement, and soon stadiums were packed beyond capacity. His duels with Diego Maradona's Napoli became mythical. Two South American geniuses enchanting Italian crowds with their distinct styles. Zico scored 19 goals in his debut season, and though injuries hampered his stay, his influence was enormous. Udinese's fans adored him as one of their own. He eventually returned to Flamengo in 1985, greeted as a returning king. His homecoming was emotional, a reunion between the artist and his stage. He continued to play with the same intelligence and flair that defined him, guiding Flamengo to more success and reinforcing his unbreakable bond with the club. His final farewell in 1989 was a national event, an emotional outpouring that reflected how deeply he was woven into Brazil's cultural fabric. The Maracanã overflowed with love, chants and tears as Brazil's beloved son bid farewell to his playing career. But Zico's influence did not end with retirement. His mind, sharp and analytical, turned to the next challenge, teaching the game he had mastered. In the early 1990s, he accepted an unexpected offer from Japan to help develop football there. The country's football culture was still nascent, its domestic league barely professional. Zico saw potential where others saw uncertainty, joining Kashima Antlers as a player and later as a technical advisor. He brought professionalism, technique and spirit to Japanese football. His presence transformed the club and, in time, the nation's footballing landscape. He became a revered figure in Japan, known affectionately as the God of Football. His influence reached far beyond the pitch, inspiring young Japanese players to dream globally. The J-League's creation and subsequent growth bore his fingerprints. His humility and respect for Japanese culture endeared him to all. Decades later, when Japan qualified for the World Cup and began to challenge traditional football powers, many credited Zico for planting the first seeds. His coaching journey continued across continents. He managed Japan's national team at the 2006 World Cup, led Fenerbahce in Turkey to domestic glory and a deep Champions League run, and guided CSKA Moscow in Russia. He later worked with clubs in Greece, Iraq and India, spreading his philosophy that football, no matter where it is played, should be rooted in joy and intelligence. Beyond the professional accolades, Zico remained true to himself. Fame never corrupted him. Despite being one of the greatest footballers of all time, he stayed humble, approachable and compassionate. He never sought controversy or attention. His personal life was defined by devotion to his family, his faith and his craft. He married Sandra, his childhood sweetheart, and together they built a life anchored in simplicity. His children grew up seeing not a global celebrity, but a man of values, discipline, and generosity. Zico's philanthropic work continued quietly. He created the ZICO Football Center in Rio to train and support underprivileged youth. He believed that every child, regardless of background, deserved the chance to dream through football, just as he once had in the streets of Quintino. His academy became a breeding ground for talent and a beacon of hope for countless children. The years have turned Zico's hair white, but his presence still radiates calm authority. He remains active in football, a mentor and philosopher whose insights are sought worldwide. His interviews reveal a mind as sharp as ever, always reflecting on football's evolution while defending its artistry. He laments the modern game's obsession with money and results, advocating instead for creativity, teamwork, and love for the ball. For many, ZICO symbolizes a time when football was purer, when skill and imagination ruled over tactics and greed. His free kicks, those impossible arcs that seemed to defy physics, remain among the greatest ever seen. He practiced them endlessly, striking the ball from every angle until perfection became routine. His technique inspired generations. Even today, players like Ronaldinho, Pirlo, and Messi have cited ZICO as a master of the craft. His influence reaches beyond the pitch. ZICO's story represents Brazil's essence: struggle, resilience, beauty, and joy. He rose from humble beginnings to global acclaim, not through force, but through grace. He lived the dream of every boy who ever kicked a ball on the streets of Rio. Though he never lifted the World Cup, his legacy surpasses many who did. Football, at its heart, is about emotion, and ZICO evoked it better than almost anyone. His name lives where statistics cannot reach, in the imagination of fans who believe football is an art form. In every flick of the ball, in every gentle curve of a free kick, ZICO taught the world that beauty and excellence are inseparable. Time will continue to create new heroes, new champions, and new records. But the name ZICO will never fade. His genius belongs to that immortal realm where football becomes poetry, where passion overcomes limitation, and where one man's dedication can inspire generations. From the narrow alleys of Quintino to the roaring Maracanã, from Tokyo to Istanbul, his story remains a shining reminder that the game's true greatness lies not in silverware, but in the hearts it touches. Arthur Antunes Coimbra, ZICO, the boy who was too small to play, who became a god of football, remains the embodiment of everything the sport should be: elegant, joyful, human, and eternal.